Good evening. I'm Spot On Weather Meteorologist Matthew Euler, and we're going to take a look at the latest winter storm update, 5 January 2017. And yes, I'm calling this the Let It Snow update. All right, so for all you snow lovers that have been waiting for a good snowstorm, this looks like it's going to be a good snowstorm for you to have fun with. Starting off with Saturday morning. Actually, Friday night into the wee hours of Saturday morning at 1 a.m. Eastern Time, we have an area of low pressure down in the northeast Gulf of Mexico with a lot of rain, and then that rain expands north into South Georgia, into southern South Carolina, and into southeast North Carolina. And then we have snow on the northern edge as this moisture overruns colder Arctic air. We have colder Arctic air in place across the mid-Atlantic, and we have moisture overrunning this colder air aloft. And look at how far south the ice is in the mix is going to go, all the way down into central southern Alabama. All right, so this is a significant winter storm for fairly deep in the south. But we do have snow for Southeast Virginia starting. It's definitely going to be here by 1 a.m. on Saturday morning. Okay, let's move ahead. All right, and I'm going to show you now the vorticity at 18,000 feet. And then I'm going to go over the jet stream positioning at 30,000 feet. And these are key upper level features that help support the development of the surface low pressure system or the storm system. So if we look at the vorticity chart at 500 millibars or 18,000 feet on the left, the yellows and oranges are the main areas I want you to focus in on. The yellows and oranges and even the red colors, these are the areas where you have positive vorticity. And whenever you have positive vorticity in the atmosphere, that generally leads to accelerated vertical motion from the surface, rising air. Right? And rising air in the atmosphere generally creates clouds, and a lot of times precipitation will form out of those clouds. So we're interested in this trough, this U-shaped trough at 18,000 feet, and we're interested in these yellows, these oranges and reds, because wherever you see these colors on this chart, that's areas where you have positive vorticity, and that's areas where you typically have lift in the atmosphere. So if we look at the time frame at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, the vorticity, we have positive vorticity in the base of the shortwave trough that sits basically over Mississippi, northern Alabama, into eastern Tennessee, and just to the western part of the state of Virginia. All right, and then the jet stream shows a deeper long wave trough going all the way down nearly the axis of this long wave trough, the polar front jet, goes all the way down into the very far deep south over Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, and then up into the mid-Atlantic states. Now, the yellows and oranges in the jet stream, 300 millibar chart, are generally areas where you have higher wind speeds that are moving within the main jet axis. And these are important too, as I discussed in a previous video a couple days ago, and that leads to also accelerated upward vertical motion in the atmosphere if you're in the left front or the right rear quadrant of the jet max. And Saturday morning at 7 a.m., Southeast Virginia into North Carolina, we're located in that right rear quadrant. The National Weather Service will say the jet streak entrance region. That's a favorable area for accelerated upward vertical motion or rising air and enhanced precipitation. So we have support here on the 500 millibar, 18,000 foot vorticity as a shortwave and positive vorticity moves into this the base of the shortwave trough, creating added lift. And then we have a jet max in the area. We're in the right rear quadrant, which adds to accelerated lift as well. Okay, so moving on to the surface again, getting back to what's going on at the surface. The low pressure system is in the northeast Gulf of Mexico, now crosses Florida Peninsula, and is situated right off the coast of South Carolina by 7 a.m. in the morning on Saturday. At this time, we have heavier snow moving into the Hampton Roads into southeast Virginia. Also, heavier snows are into North Carolina at this time, with a mix of rain and snow, possibly sleet mixed in, closer to southeast North Carolina. So we have a lot of snow that is moving in, and the rates are increasing. We could see rates on the order of 1 to 2 inches per hour, possibly even up to 3 inches per hour in the heaviest snow bands. All right, now let's take a look at the vorticity and jet stream at 7 p.m. on Saturday the 7th. And now you'll notice that that vorticity has moved generally right over the top of Southeast Virginia and North Carolina. So this is indicating the greatest lift at this time. Okay, and that once that shortwave moves through, then we expect that the snow and that low pressure system will move away from the area. Look at your jet stream and how deep this long wave trough is at 30,000 feet. That's allowing much colder air to move into the base of this long wave trough. And at this point in time, the surface low will be well off the coast. The winds at the surface will be north-northwest, and that will really allow Arctic air to pour into the area on the backside of this snowstorm. So now we're going to back up a little bit. We're going to back up to 1 p.m. on Saturday. And again, that surface low is now at basically just to the east of Cape Hatteras, but far enough offshore to where we keep it all snow over Southeast Virginia into North Carolina. And again, we're in a heavier snow situation at this point in time. We've got a nice 1043 millibar high, bringing colder air in. Backside of this low counterclockwise flow in the northern hemisphere, bringing colder in as well. So it's going to be plenty cold enough for snow here in Southeast Virginia. It takes really special circumstances to get this kind of snowstorm set up all the way down here to the coast. And then by 7 p.m., the last bits of the snow will be hanging on the eastern part of the far southeastern part of Virginia, as well as the far eastern part of North Carolina. Now we also have to keep in mind, if we have the right wind trajectory down the bay, the mouth of this Chesapeake Bay, much colder air over these warmer waters, we could have additional 1 to 2 inch snow on top of what we're projecting. And then Sunday, just a quick summary on Sunday. That storm's now departing away from the mid-Atlantic. We have a strong 1043 Arctic high pressure system, 1043 millibar high, very strong pressure. The higher that number, the stronger the pressure, the more dense the cold air is. And we're going to have a fresh snowpack down as well at that time. All that's going to lead to very cold temperatures on Sunday. The overnight lows are going to be even colder at that time. So my winter storm final thoughts are this tonight. We have a winter storm watch in effect from 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Friday the 6th of January, to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the 7th of January, and that was issued earlier today by the National Weather Service office in Wakefield. Snow will start to fall after 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Friday night, and it will last until about 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Saturday. The heaviest snow is going to fall. We could be up 1 to 2 inches per hour, and with even heavier bands of snow, perhaps as much as 3 inches in 1 hour. We're going to have some very heavy snow rates from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Saturday. Storm totals, this is what we're looking at right now. 8 to 10 inches in Virginia Beach, Chesapeake, and the Norfolk area. 6 to 8 inches Hampton and Newport News, a little further to the north and west. We could have locally higher amounts, up to 12 inches, in and around Hampton Roads cities. It's dependent on the mesoscale banding features of the storm which add moisture and lift. Okay, so let me go back here. At this point in time, we could be setting up a mesoscale, a smaller scale, an enhanced band of snow. And this sometimes happens with heavier snowstorms across Southeast Virginia, where you get this really narrow swath of enhanced, heavier precipitation as Atlantic moisture is flung back over into the colder air along the coast. So we have to be mindful that it can be setting up at this location, a northeast to southwest orientation possibly, by 7 a.m. on Saturday morning, which will lead to heavier snow rates. And then, again, it'll be setting up from northeast to southwest by 1 p.m. So again, the heaviest snow, the greatest impacts for traveling around the area, folks, will be 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturday. Snow will start around just after 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow night, Friday night, and it is going to be heavy snow. So get your shovels out. We could be looking at 8 to 10 inches on the south side of the Hampton Roads cities, 8 to 10 inches Virginia Beach, Chesapeake, and Norfolk even, and then 6 to 8 inches of snow for Hampton and Newport News, with locally higher amounts. So stay tuned to Spot On Weather for the latest. We just put a forecast out on Facebook. We also shared it to Twitter. Again, this is going to be a very impactful storm, winter storm for our area. It's got the right trajectory, very similar to the December 2010 storm, by the way. All right, so that's all I have for the evening. There's your updated snowfall totals. And remember, we're spot on weather. If we're not spot on, we're not doing it right. Have a great evening, everyone. Hope everybody's getting ready for the storm.